Hi Team Flyer, welcome back to the Wizard Podcast. I'm your host, Ariana Redondo, and we are back for another Motivational Monday. And this one, I was super passionate about, so if you go back to the one when we talked about Tangled, about Rapunzel, I was like, ooh, the next one's going to be, and this is the next one that I was talking about. This quote, this topic, I was super passionate, and I'm like, all right, ready, set, go. Of course, in between this two episodes, we had Halloween, because it is one of my favorite holidays, if not my favorite. I feel like Christmas might be, moving on in there, kind of, sort of, we'll see. But Halloween, alrighty then, so. For those joining us today for the first time, thank you so much. For those joining us today for the millionth time in the millionth episode, it feels like this really reminds me of Pop Meets World sometimes. Thank you. Just thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being, part of this community, Team Flyer, and just being a safe space for all of us. Thank you so much. You are so wonderful and amazing and extraordinary, and you are here today to listen to the quote of the day for this Motivational Monday for the week, to make your week, be pumped up and real and raw as always. Are we ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are we ready for this? Yes, let's go. So the quote is only two letters. 2 words. It's only 2 words. And they are Silenzio Bruno. I tried to say it in the accent. Alright, so the quote is Silenzio Bruno from the movie Luca, which is also one of my dear top favorite movies, because Luca is just, it's real. It's so real. Another great Pixar movie. Alrighty then, so Silenzio Bruno in this movie is the moment, for those who haven't seen, without giving too much spoilers, because I don't like to give spoilers in this particular podcast, is a moment where the two main characters, but especially one of them, Luca, literally, the main character, I guess, Luca, is about to face his fears, and his friend was telling him the best way to face your fears is by saying Silenzio Bruno. They don't know who Bruno is. Bruno was no one in this situation, but he heard it somewhere at some point of life, and he told Luca to say Silenzio Bruno, as in, like, be quiet. And Bruno, quote unquote, is his ego, to say, his fear. So in other words, he told him, let's look fear in the eye, say Silenzio Bruno until it becomes really silent, and you're gonna do it anyway. And that, my friends, Team Flyer, is how you get out of your comfort zone. And that also is one of the many lessons of the movie Luca, without a doubt. So the first thing I could say is that, we can change everything in our lives when we stop resisting them. In other words, when we accept them exactly how they are. And that's a great follow-up from, the previous episodes of Motivational Monday, of, like, whenever I say, oh my god, my life's a roller coaster lately. And yeah, it's all about, riding waves and things like that, but it felt a little bit more loopy than usual. And that's, something I came to realize, that I was like, I gotta accept where I am right now. And that's another beautiful part of reminding ourselves to be more present. Because when we accept that right now we have this job, or this house, or this situation, we can acknowledge where we are, the power behind where we are, and also we have the right kind of mindset to understand how to move from where we are. Versus if we're too stuck up on the past or the present, we don't have any tools or any ground. We're basically floating like in thin air, because those are two things that don't exist. The past is not real, the future is not real. What's real is this moment right now, right here, that you're listening to this episode, that I'm recording this episode, and I'm seeing the reality that I'm in, right? So the moment that you are able to realize where you are, the quicker you can realize that, the quicker you can change it. And yes, easier said than done, especially coming from me, because holy moly, that is a life lesson that is being learned as we speak. And yes, this witch feels way more powerful every single time, more and more and more. Believe me. So yeah, we can change everything in our lives the moment we stop resisting them. In other words, the moment that we accept them exactly the way they are. And that's exactly what I've been doing. You know, to completely accept yourself and how you are today without forcing yourself to change. And that's something super important to do, because we have talked about this in the previous episodes, hence why this episode was like, oh my god, I talk about this again, but in a longer format, so to speak, because it's all about feeling your emotions. It's all about making sure that you accept every single emotion that you have, and realize that you don't need to change. Like, if you're sad, you have to be like, oh, I have to be happy. I can only be happy. It's like, no, I'm allowed to be sad. I'm allowed to be angry about certain things. It's okay in that kind of sense. So going back into the whole feeling things, or going deeper into the feeling things once again. 1, all my feelings are valid. Period. 2, there is no wrong way to feel, because feelings are real. So no one can come up to you and say, oh my god, you shouldn't feel sad about this because, you're crying over spilled milk. Or, I didn't treat you that way, so I don't know why you're so angry about it. Or, like, I don't understand why you felt abandoned or hurt or whatever, since, that wasn't my intention. That's very different, because they're coming from a place from their own personal opinion and their own personal journey. Where you need to come from with yourself is that those feelings that you are currently having, they're valid and they're there for a reason, and they're there because they're real. Now, it depends on you the way that you handle them. It depends on you the way that you want to control them and release them into the world, of course. Hence, going back to the quote Silenzio Bruno. But before we go back into the quote a little further, let's continue on the feelings. Intentions. So number 3, intentions are important, but what is more important is actions and words. Okay, so like, once again, go into that quote, or not quote, but that sentence that you said is like, oh, I don't know why you're angry or frustrated because that wasn't my intention. Or like, when someone tells you, whoever that person is, it doesn't matter. Whenever someone tells you that, that's not okay. Intentions are important because if it's someone who actually meant well and you understand that this person's kind-hearted and you're like, okay, I gets it. But what's more important is those actions and words. And you need to stand up for yourself and tell people how they affected you and hold them accountable, and vice versa. Because that's equilibrium, that's balance, that's respect right there. Because the moment that you say, hey, I understand you came from a good place. However, this made me feel frustrated or angry or alone, or you belittled me, or all these sorts of negative things that I'm feeling, is because that had an impact on me this way. I'm holding you accountable because I want to be treated kinder, or I want to make sure that you listen to me next time I'm telling you my feelings, or this is how I felt after the situation happened, and I can't avoid my feelings because my feelings are real and valid. Now, if it's something I need to change with myself, then that's on me. But if it's something that we can work together, then you need to be able to have an open space and heart to listen to me, and so we can end up in a common ground and make this friendship continue. Because that's what we both want. And once again, vice versa, because you are also a human, because you probably caused that effect on somebody else as well. And that's okay, because we're human beings. I mean, that's literally who we are as a structure. Like, it's normal that we mess up and that we hurt people sometimes. But we have to be held accountable. That's the only way we're going to grow. So, Going into that, number 4, no one's perfect. And even though you've fallen and made mistakes, you know you can do better and be a better version of yourself by simply trying again and working on yourself. And like I always say, if you're here right now listening to this episode, whether it's the only one or you listen to all of them, that's amazing because that's work for you. The fact that I'm here writing these words and taking these notes and going through healing and going through therapy and uploading a podcast about it, like that's my path and that's my journey. That's how I heal and that's how I learn, because I'm speaking those words into existence because that's the way I heal and grow, apart from like writing them out. And that's fine because all those are versions of working on ourselves. And that's so freaking beautiful. So, with all that, talking about the feelings, the more you say Silenzio Bruno, the first thing that definitely would happen is that your ego is going to freak out. It's going to, like, I was talking about this when it came to, like, the inner teen just freaking out. That was ego right there. Like, if you listen to that episode about my inner teen, it's just all about... She was so stable in the workaholic kind of vibe. She was so stable in the lack mindset that when I gave her something new, refreshed, different, better foundation, she had no idea what to do with herself, and she drove me crazy. I let her freak out in that kind of sense, and I held her and I protected her, and I said, Silenzio Bruno, because I know better, because I know I won that war, I know I won that race, I know I won that battle, because I stood up to fear in the face, and I'm like, hey baby girl, I know you like the lack mindset, and I know you like working 3 million jobs and working yourself down to the ground because you think that's worthy, but you know what? Resting is productive. You know what? Having money flow to you without working, it's possible because you are worthy. You know what? Being stable and actually having a home to come home every day to, and like actually having more than just one food on the table, that's life. That's the life you deserve. You deserve all the beautiful, wonderful things. I'm holding you tightly. I'm protecting you. I'm letting you know that you can still rock out to your 90 bands, or 2000 bands actually, because Avril Lavigne, for example, and you can still finally find yourself and like dress up the way that we used to dress up, like, because that was our real style. I understand all that part of you, but remember, the freak out, spiraling, ego part, we're going to let that go. I'm going to say Silenzio Bruno to that, because we deserve better. We deserve luxurious trips around the world. We deserve all the food available. We deserve all the treats. We deserve all the love. We deserve to rest. We deserve to have financial abundance all the time because we've made it. That's one of the many, many ways I've said Silenzio Bruno in that particular case about inner teen. So, number 2. Once you're able to say Silenzio Bruno to the thing that you fear the most and do the thing, when you realize you're there, so, okay. This will make more sense if you've seen the movie, but if you haven't, it's okay. Go see the movie. Let me give you another example. Imagine you're on top of a hill. And imagine you're 10 years old. You're riding a bike. And you're climbing up that hill. Hashtag Stranger Things. Climbing up that hill. With your bike. All the way to the very, very top. And you see that hill. And you're like, holy moly, am I really going to ride down as fast as I can down this hill and feel this rush? And like, what am I doing? Why am I here? It's going to be safer if I shouldn't be here. Like, what? No. Honey, every single time you're climbing up that hill, you gotta say Silenzio Bruno. So by the time you get up that hill and look down and know that you're going to be able to ride your bicycle down that hill, you're going to yell Silenzio Bruno, because once you're there and you realize you've made it to the top just to go back down in this sense, in the good sense in this example, because your intention was to go down really, really fast, bike your way down the hill, you realize you're able to go after what you want. Because in all those steps, you were like, Silenzio Bruno, Silenzio Bruno, Silenzio Bruno. Like, now, it's my turn. I got the power, not you. Me, Silenzio Bruno. And that's like perfection itself. Because the rush you feel going down that hill on your bike with the wind in your hair, with your friends cheering you on, with you saying, I'm a freaking badass. I mean, at 10 years old, I don't know if you would say that, but you know what I mean. I'm unstoppable. I can do it all. What a rush. The fact that you said, Silenzio Bruno, you faced your fears, you're going to rush back again up that hill and do it all over again and again and again. And it's just going to feel even better each and every time. And guess what? When you're tired of that hill, you're going to go to the next hill. And you're going to do it all over again because you like that rush. So you just keep upgrading. You keep leveling up like the superhero that you are because you are the creator of your own reality. Goodness gracious. Oh, I get so passionate about this. So, when you get the thing that you want, just because you want it, that means you get it's a path of least resistance. In other words, the first time's scary. You don't want to face the fear, but you're like, okay, Silenzio Bruno, let's face the fear. Let's go. And you have all these like little doubts, right? You go up the hill. You do it. And you do it again. And you do it again. And then you're like, okay, great. I did this like 5 million times. Let's go to the next one. All right. That one only took me 3 million times. Okay, sure. Let's get up to the next hill. Okay, that only took me 1 million times. All right, let's get to the next hill. Oh my God. After 5 times, I'm ready to go up to the next hill. What does that do to you? Not only does it build resistance, as in like stamina, consistency, self-love, like self-care, like building that confidence. Not only that, it's also, interestingly enough, it's the path of least resistance. Because when you go after a thing that you want and you realize you want it and you release it and you're like, I'm just going to go for it, it's going to come to you faster and faster. And you're going to get it faster and faster because it's the path of least resistance. And I love it. I love that so much. And that's something so interesting that I'm currently learning, the path of least resistance. And it's something that, it's like I said, with this quote, Silenzio Bruno, I feel like, I swear, like I thought about having it tattooed so many times because it's a great way of saying, F the fear. Silenzio Bruno, F the ego. It's like, I'm going to do it because I got the power to do it. And once I know what I want and I know I'm going to get it, it's going to come. Path of least resistance. And that is your turning point. That right there is your turning point as you visualize, as you release, and as you surrender to that change. You know, as you honor that transformation, if you're saying each and every step, Silenzio Bruno, F the fear, as you keep having hope and faith within yourself, the universe is bringing you to somewhere greater and bigger. You know, because you have the ability to let go of what no longer serves you, because that's when you turn into your higher self, you know? And it's just something so beautiful about that as well, once again. All right, and let's go a little bit again talking to fear, because fear is false evidence appearing real. Let that sink in. Fear is false evidence appearing real. We have created belief systems out of fear, and with that, it has created a very restricted way of living life that doesn't really work for us. You know, like we're fearful of leaving that job because we're scared of not finding something else. We're fearful of not opening ourselves to love because we're scared to being hurt again. And with those kind of things, for example, like the whole job thing, it's going to be one of my favorite quotes. And no, it's not Disney. It's actually Friends related. Chandler says it to Rachel very early on. I want to say season 3, one of those two. Maybe 4, who knows. But very early on. And she's frustrated because she doesn't like her job. She's been a waitress for 3 years. That's why she didn't go to New York to be a waitress. And she's super tired about it. And Cher's like, it's because you don't have the fear. You got to quit your job, get the fear, and that's going to get you what you want. And since then, I promise you not, like every person who has known me throughout the years, I'm like, I show them that video. I'm like, fear, you need to have it. Fear is your friend, you know? For me, the job thing is very real because when I quit my previous 9 to 5 job, not the just one I just had, but like the previous ones in general, and I leaped into, my podcast and my business, like that was real fear because you're like, okay, like how are we gonna pay bills, and like how's life gonna happen, and like how and you're like, well, you know what, Silenzio Bruno, because I know what I really want to do with my life, and I really want to run my own business, and I'm going to be a billionaire while I'm at it, so I'm just going to go for it. And here I am, And yeah, that, it's life. It's not an overnight success, and like I said, I'm not trying to make it look easy, because it's not, because I'm always very real with you. My point being is those moments of taking that leap is very fearful. I gets it, but the moment you stare at fear in its eyes and say, Silenzio Bruno, and do quit that job, you're allowing new space to come in. You finally, you showed the universe that you're taking away that contract that you had, and you're bringing something new in that's made for you. That's something better for you. It's like when I talk about clothes, I love donating clothes. I love having fresh new wardrobes as much as I can. And not because I love shopping, because I really actually don't like shopping at all, to be honest. At least not right now, presently, and I haven't liked shopping, I think, ever. But it's because I love refreshed energy. If something doesn't serve me, if I'm not longer wearing that hoodie or wearing those shorts, or that tank top doesn't make me feel right, or those pants are like, why am I keeping it? I either love it or love it. Especially with something that represents so much of me. It's like people who watch movies just because they're like, they won 1 million awards, and they're like, oh, it's not really my genre, or things like, well, why are you wasting your time? Like, watch things, surround yourself by things that you love, that fill you up with joy and happiness, and things like that. So, going to the second part that I was saying, which is fearful of opening ourselves to love because we're scared of being hurt again, I feel like that one also hits home to me a lot more. Because it does happen to me, because I have been hurt a lot by love, by friendships, because love is not only romantic love. Like, for me, love is everything. Love is friendships and family, and of course romantic, but it's, work, it's relationships in general. And it took me a long time to open up again, to be like, oh, I'm gonna start talking to people again, and I'm gonna just talk to strangers again, and share my life again. Oh, okay. But Ariana, you have a podcast, and you share your life through your podcast. I can just see your face. I can totally see your face. I'm like, I know, but I'm speaking to a microphone, and then, yeah, I don't know. I do share a lot of my podcast, and I do share a lot of my content of my life with you through my content, and I do get it. But it's something really different when you're actually meeting someone and you're having a friendship with someone versus share your life through this platform. So yeah, fear, in other words, is our friend. Why? Ariadna, why are you telling me that fear is our friend? How? Because where there's fear, there's an opportunity for discovery. Where there's pain, there's an opportunity to investigate and to build self-resilience. Because all these emotions, baby girl and baby boy, are working in our favor. It's really helping us to step out into our full infinite power. It is a matter of really sitting with those beliefs that we have misconstrued as facts, and seeing the ones that are supporting us through our journey. It's learning to, I'm getting emotional because when am I not, but yeah. Learning from those things that make us feel uncomfortable and fearful, and utilizing them as a catalyst for transformation and for change. So let me break down this little bit, mumbo jumbo I just felt like I said to you. So, like we said, every emotion is valid. All these emotions are working in our favor, and it's helping us to really, step into our full infinite power. We're good up to there. Because fear is false evidence appearing real, we have to sit with those beliefs that we have misconstrued as facts. For example, again, that hill that you rode up by your bike, through your bike, with your bike, what I can't do. Let's rewind and play. Going back to that example that I was saying about the hill and your bike. Those times that you were going up the hill and you were doubting, you were like, no, but I can fall. I can kill myself. I can scrape my knee. I can crash into something. All my friends will laugh at me because I'm just gonna cry. Or all those little things that you've told yourself are, like I said, they're false evidence apparent real. While you're doing that, while you're going up the hill, and I'm telling you again, say Silenzio Bruno every time that negative thought comes up. While you're letting these thoughts happen, you gotta be realistic about them. Because it's not it's not a known fact that you're gonna scrape your knee. It's not a known fact that you're gonna crash into something. Kind of the opposite. You're able to go straight down this hill because it's really, really clear. It's not a known fact that your friends are going to laugh at you if you don't want to go down. One, if they do laugh at you while you're in the state of despair, they're not really your friends. And two, it's a reality that hasn't happened yet. So it's you're imagining something that's not real. And that's super duper important for you to understand within this message of Silenzio Bruno. The moments that we're saying Silenzio Bruno, the moments that we're quieting our minds and quieting our egos is because we're facing our fear and we're telling fear you don't exist. You are a friend because thanks to you, I'm going into a better, bigger version of myself. Thanks to me facing you, I am gaining more self-confidence. I'm walking in my worth. I'm knowing my power every step more and more. I'm gaining more self-resilience. Thanks to you. However, I know you're not real because you're just imaginary scenarios in my head. So I'm going to face you forward. Hence, going back once again, full circle, like I was saying, you go after the thing you want because you know you want it, and that is the path of least resistance. Silenzio Bruno, I swear, that secret of that sentence, of those two words, it's so freaking powerful because it's literally quieting your mind and for you to be like, I'm going to do it. Do you know the power you have, Team Flower? Do you know what you are capable of? Do you know the inner knowledge you have that's the world's waiting for you to speak up? And like I said previously, you don't have to be a public speaker. You don't have to be anything creative. But your friends, your family, your teachers, your co-workers, your kids, they want to hear what you've got to say. They want to see you glow. They want to see you shine. They want you to be the best version of yourself because they know that you have it in you. So the more that you are telling to yourself and those fears, Silenzio Bruno, the more you are, the better opportunities you get. And like I keep saying, there's something so beautiful about that. So beautiful. So, yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. I was going to ask you, what are you saying Silenzio Bruno to in your life? I'm saying Silenzio Bruno in my life. Many things, I would say. Probably. To other people's opinion. I think that more and more and more. I feel like by now, at this point of this year, it's something that I've definitely learned a lot about. It's my word of the year. It's acknowledgement. And to know my power, understand my power, and know who I am and not only what I bring to the table, that I bring the whole table. So other people's opinions, online or offline. I dress what I want, I do what I want, I dance when I want, I sing when I want, and I'm who I am. at this very moment. As long as I'm not hurting anybody else, and even if I was, I would want that person to come and sit down with me and, like, let's fix it. If it's something to fix, because sometimes there isn't, but that's a whole different conversation. I'm saying Silenzio Bruno to other people's opinion because I really want to show up for myself. I want to, like I was saying with my inner teen, I want to start dressing up like her again and feeling and finding that, what's it called? Like fashion, that style, there you go, that makes me the most me. I want to say to the universe, I'm saying Silenzio Bruno to the lack mindset, to be like, yes, I'm abundant, and I know I'm financially stable and financially free, and I know I'm going to have all the finances in the world to make sure that I get a style that fits me for me, so I can show up as myself, both inner self and outer self, both inside and out. You know, and I think that's super important because it's a matter of the way that we express ourselves. I love expressing myself. As the ambulances pass by the side of the universe saying, yep, this is the message. This is the message right here. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling all sorts of emotion and all sorts of, like, the beautiful things. I'm very passionate about just saying F fears and Silenzio Bruno and that movie, and I love the way that I've been showing up for myself. I'm so utterly proud that I've been saying Silenzio Bruno to other people's, like I said, not only other people's opinions, but other people's demands. The fact that there were so many people in my life who were like, no, you need to be this, or you need to do that, or, like, this is, like, the way that, like, good girls behave. Like, there's so many ish that I've heard all my life. I'm like, you know what? I can be heavily tattooed all I want, and I can have my hair a million colors all I want. I'm still going to be myself. And I'm going to be a kind person. I'm going to choose joy, and I'm going to keep on doing what I love. I'm going to wear that skirt. I'm going to just go out dancing because that's just who I am. And that's what makes me the happiest, you know? So, yeah, I'm saying Silenzio Bruno to a lot of things this year, and most of all with myself. To my past beliefs, to thinking that I have to be overproductive, or to thinking that I have to be at a certain place at a certain time to feel like I'm part of society or worthy enough to deserve love. F that noise. Silenzio Bruno to all that. I am worthy just the way I am, and I know what I bring, and I know who I am, and I know that resting is productive, and whoever wants to be here part of the journey is just going to be here, and vice versa. And if not, then it's okay. It wasn't meant to be. But meanwhile, like, just going to keep enjoying. So, yeah. that's how I'm choosing to end this episode. I am super thankful that you're here today. I am always beyond thankful that you're here today listening through every single episode, moment in time, and just everything for life opportunities that... For all the moments that, you know, I have been frustrated and have that little mini roller coaster ride, I'm going to keep remembering and reminding myself Silenzio Bruno. I'm going to keep getting up and keep getting up. Why? Because of me, because of me, because of me, first of all. But then because of you. Because of you, Team Flyer. Because you are really a huge motivator in my life. Your comments, your likes, your subscriptions, your 5-star reviews. Your way of showing up makes me more excited and makes me more connected. It makes me feel that we're really in this together. So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you so much for being here today. Let me know what you were saying Silenzio Bruno to. And as always, hug tighter, love stronger, always believe. I'm Mariana Redondo. This is the Always Lure Podcast, Season 4, baby. And I'm super thankful you're here today and always till infinity and beyond. Thank you very much. And remember, Silenzio Bruno. Silenzio Bruno.